This man, seemingly from another age, is doing his best to escape the pressures of the modern world. The 30 or so teepee dwellers have arrived in the valley gradually. Some are dedicated hippies, others ex-professional people looking for something different. They exist mainly as couples or single-parent families. This is no huge commune sharing a grand new life plan. But what they do all have in common are their teepees.
The teepee makes me feel home. It is home. It's like a nest. It's where I bring the children up. It's where I prepare the food. It's where I live. And I do actually feel fulfilled about living. To be close to the nature. It's outside the door. It's inside. There's no separation between us and the earth.
The notion of teepee life is a romantic one, the reality more basic. Carol's 4 children share her small space. It's a life of wood fires and blackened pots and cold running water from the stream outside.
You have to learn how to live in a teepee. But once you've learned how to live in a teepee, then the work involved in keeping the whole of your home together need not be more than about 1 hour a day. Now, there is no comparable sort of home that I know of in this country. I wonder how many of the viewers could say, well, it only takes an hour a day to keep this place together, dear. You see, it's we may have the elements to contend with, but the elements are as kind as they're anything else.
If there's an initiation ceremony for new members of this novel tribe, then it involves a sewing machine and yards of canvas material. For to have any chance of joining the people here, a newcomer has first to sit down and make his or her teepee. It may look complicated, but it's surprising how quickly the technique is mastered when it rains and a person needs somewhere to shelter.
Good hole there. We've got this too wide by far, haven't we? It's got to be dropped well down. Right.
The children learn early about the way of the teepee.
And then the door goes on.
Let's see what's lacking in and they might keep it up.
It's very good for the children. And of course, they know what goes on in the world as well. You find them out in the field with a packet of space dust playing $6 Million Man. You know, they're not missing any of it. What they aren't doing is constantly exposed to it. So the $6 Million Man and space dust is a very, very minute part of their lives. And looking after baby lambs and playing with the horses and digging in their gardens is a much, much larger part of their lives. And that is the balance.
One problem that has to be solved is the education of the dozen or so children. Their ages range from 14 to just a few months. In many ways, they're more resourceful and independent than other children, but they've no formal education. The local authority now say they'll give the village a teacher. The villagers will provide the books.
I'm not worried that at 7 he doesn't read and write, because he can look at a picture, a photograph, and he can tell me far more about what is going on than the text alongside that ever would. The schools are the childminders of this country. Well, I mind my own child, and I make sure that every educational facility that he wants will be there.
The moment a book comes into the teepee, and there's a couple of books down there about beadwork and painting on wood, craft books, the kids goes round, you know, let me have it after you, and they read it. They do, you know, because it's not being pushed into them. It's their own energy desiring to know, which is a natural way of things. I know it is.
As the village becomes more established, members of alternative communities arrive. Some to visit, some to trade or barter like the cart people. They use the old grass tracks and come from a place 2 days over the hill. The villagers' material needs are basic. Wood from the forest to fuel the fire for cooking and warmth, water from the stream. Some food is now being grown on site, but much is still to be purchased outside. A good many villagers are still supported by social security, but most are working towards self-sufficiency.
I wanted to seek something that was free from the stresses of city life, and I wanted to find a place where I could grow things and live out on the land, away from the stresses of the times that we live in.
You know, I find that I can cope here slightly better than I cope in the city. I eat better food. I get more time to spend with people discussing and living in the real situation that makes me feel happy, makes me high.
I like to be up very early in the morning, because then there's a completely different vibe. You know, I get up and there's no smoke coming from any lodges, and I go and let the chickens out, and the feeling of it in the air and the colours in the sky. That's why I'm here.